So I took an IQ test today, and it was actually during a class that I had up at work. This class was how to use Excel. It's a basic class, so I learned some stuff there. But for the most part, it was a whole bunch of stuff I'd already known. But there were a lot of things in there that I didn't know, and there was a lot of shortcuts and stuff that I just had no idea that it even existed. I don't even use Excel. I use Google Sheets, but I learned how to use that general software in Excel before I switched over to Sheets. Sheets is much simpler for what I need. If I needed a lot more heavy lifting and macros and scripts and coding and VBA and all that stuff, then I'd probably go back to Excel. But for my needs at the moment, and because it's integrated with Google Suite and Google Forms, Google Docs, all the stuff, it's just clean and I like it. And it's online, it's free, it's easily accessible. I like it, so that's why I use it. But anyway, I had a class on that, and because it was basic and I already had the knowledge of a lot of the stuff, I got really curious and I was like, I'm gonna go take an IQ test, but I'm gonna take one that's where you got to pay for it. It's got the results and the details and the blah blah blah. Now, I've always taken the free online ones in the past, and I've always gotten in the 130s, no lie. And I was like, well, these are free, so it's probably exaggerating to make me feel good. And because 130, if you don't know, is apparently gifted or very advanced, and anything above 141 is very gifted or highly advanced. So I've always gotten in the 130s. And of course, because they're free tests online, I'm like, okay, well, can't really put that much weight into them, I don't think. So anyway, took one where you actually have to pay for it, and it wasn't an arm and a leg. It was $8 because it was on sale. It was normally $20, but today, coincidentally, at the exact time, right? So it's $8. Took that, and again, I got 130. So I don't know. I guess out of the last 2-3 years, I've always taken IQ tests, the free ones. Decided to take a paid one, and it looks like I got an IQ of 130. So according to the bell curve, it looks like 40 to 54 is moderately impaired or delayed. So when somebody's being stupid, don't tell them that they got 1 IQ or 2 IQ. Say you got a 45 IQ, because they probably think that's high if they don't know. Anyway, 55 to 69 mildly impaired or delayed, 70 to 79 borderline impaired, 80 to 89 low average, 90 to 109 average, 110 to 119 high average, 120 to 129 superior, 130 to 140 gifted, 141 or more very gifted. So your boy's fucking gifted, dude. So I don't really put too much weight into these things. However, I will flex about this for quite some time, because that's just how I am. So yeah, I'm smart as fuck, and I'm smart. So buy my shit. I'm smart as fuck. Okay, no, I'm done. That's cringy. But so I took that. That's pretty cool. And I was looking at my score, and it says my pattern recognition is low, which is funny because I got a 130 score. But I'm taking this while in a class, so my focus was 100% on the IQ test because I'm in Excel and stuff. So I want to take it again, but I got to pay for it again. I don't want to pay for it again, dude. So whatever. So maybe I will, just to see if my score goes up above 141, because if it is, then I'm very gifted. According to this is the IQ Test Academy. Didn't do any validity check or anything like that, but I got to pay for it. So of course that means it's worth more. And of course I'm absolutely kidding, but that's what it was. I got that, so it's pretty cool. When you look at the results, it says how I might think or how I might see things, or what this means for me and projects and teamwork and blah, blah, blah. And of course, this is just stroking my ego. So I agree with everything it says. So anyway, moving on from that, no more talking about how goddamn smart I am or intelligent I am. Peasants. Okay, I'm done. Totally fucking kidding. Someone's going to take that right up the ass in the future. I'm fucking joking. Okay, well, anyway, so that's that. Second thing I want to talk about, and it's probably going to be short-lived, but whatever. So I'm in this Excel class, and we got to do the introduction. So everybody goes around and stands up and says, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm from this building and this squadron. I work on these things. I have this much experience in Excel. My hobbies include yada, yada. And it was a smaller class, so it's a baby step. Take it for what it is. But rather than being like, oh, I like basketball and then leaving it at that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking say what I like. I like entrepreneurship and I like business and I like marketing and I like sales. And that's what the fuck I like. I like self-development. That's what the fuck I'm about. And so I actually said that. I said that when they came around to me. I was like, hey, I'm Bryson. I'm from building so-and-so. I work on such and such. I know quite a bit about Excel, not a master by any means. And I like entrepreneurship, business, marketing, sales, and just kind of self-development. It's really what I'm into. And then we moved the fuck on and didn't think anything of it. And I was like, cool, man. Well, I did it. I shared it. So now people know. Doesn't matter. And then we're going down the line of everyone else. And there was, again, 10 people, 8 people, however many people, can't remember. There was 8 people. And we get to the last guy, and the last guy says his part, and he goes, yeah, well, actually, just like Jason, is that your name, man? And I was like, no, it's Bryson. He says, oh, yeah, that's what I'm into, man. I'm really into the entrepreneurship because I got this and blah, 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 and this jewelry, but you know? And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. This guy wouldn't have any idea that we're on the same playing field if I didn't say anything. He wouldn't have made that relation. Maybe he wouldn't have said any. This is what I'm thinking in the like as this is happening. But it's powerful thought. What if this guy didn't want to share what he was really into either because he's like me and he didn't want anybody asking questions or people thinking this or that or whatever because he's insecure like me. What if he shared that shit because I made him feel comfortable? And I don't care if I did or didn't. That goes back to the mental edge episode. I think that's the most referenced episode on this whole podcast so far. Mental edge. Let's figure out which episode that is. And I call mental edge intentful delusion. So it's you're just being delusional to favor your beliefs or whatever because it makes you feel better. So that's quite literally what it is. But if you call it mental edge, it sounds much better. I think it's 86. Let's see. 37, mental edge. I don't know if I have an updated one or not, but that was from December 2023. Anyway, it's just intentful delusion. So anyway, just go look at that. Go listen to that if you want. Just believing in the circumstances or whatever you want to make it so that you feel better or that you are empowered, that makes you work harder, whatever. So you can go listen to that if you want. But maybe that guy shared what he shared because he felt like he could because somebody else did. Or maybe because he wanted to potentially network with me because that shit's, I don't know, it's not rare it's not common that people share that shit. And I would say that it's very rare that people are even into that to begin with, because to say something like that while we're all there because we work a 9 to 5 government job there, that's why we're there. Nobody else is there. So to say that while we're all working the same job, getting probably a very similar pay, it's just so rare, I think. So that was something I was thinking a lot about because I was about to not share any of that because I've always shied away for I only have a handful of coworkers, 3 of which no longer work with us, that know about what I've got going on. And the rest that I currently do work with for the last year have not said a single word, which is very preferred because I don't want the attention. I don't want questions. I don't want people keeping tabs on me. I don't want people asking, hey, so what are you doing now? Is this, so you give up on this, or how you going strong with that, or how much money you made? I don't like that, dude. Don't fucking worry about what I'm doing, because that means I got to update you. So if I say, hey, I have a podcast, that means I got to update you every time you ask me questions, or that means if something happens, I got to update you or whatever. You know, that's why I don't tell people shit unless it's final. And like, for example, if I might have to get my arm cut off, I'm not going to tell a goddamn person that I have to get my arm cut off until I get confirmation by looking visually at my arm that it is no longer attached to my body. That's when I would tell somebody. But the weeks or the months leading up to it of, I might have to have surgery, I might have to have this, I might have to have this cut, or I might have to have surgery here or whatever. I'm not saying a goddamn fucking word until that shit is off my body. That way, it's a one and done deal. Hey, so this is what happened. Had to get my arm removed. I don't have an arm anymore. And they're not ever putting the arm back on, so I'm never going to have to update them again and say, hey, actually, you know what? I got my arm back, if you couldn't tell. I don't like doing that shit. It's the most annoying thing. I don't want to update people. It's just, that makes you think I'm in high school again. I'm just being drama and gossip, and I'm sharing the tea of everything. Fuck all that, bro. One and done. I'll tell you once and that's it. So with telling people what I got going on, I don't want to have to tell Bob and then Bobby and then Bobison and the Bojibby Bob. I don't want to tell everybody one by one, but I don't want, the alternative is everybody groups up and I tell them. I'm not going to do that. And I don't want to do that. And I would prefer that nobody knows so that way nobody's keeping tabs on me or asking or whatever. But after today, that makes me feel like me suppressing my ambition around other people might be hurting other people, not directly hurting them, but it might be removing something, that kind of push or reminder or belief in themselves that, hey, I've got a coworker, Bryson, who... Excuse me? Did you guys hear that? What the fuck was that? Hold on, I think I know what it was. So I got this Bluetooth speaker and it just shut off automatically. Don't do that. I'm still listening to you. Anyway, so I wouldn't be hurting them, I wouldn't be hurting them directly by not saying anything, but I would be, by me suppressing my ambition and my goals and stuff, it might be the reason why somebody else doesn't want to share their stuff because they feel like they're surrounded by a bunch of people who are just working 9 to 5s who don't really have any giant goals or visions or whatever, which is not a problem, by the way. It's just other people do, and it's okay. But the minute you start attacking that, people get offended. Anyway, maybe that's the reason why they don't share their shit. It's because I'm not sharing mine. And so then that makes me think, well, shit, dude, if I'm trying to be a leader here, then I gotta lead by example. And what better way to do that than to share or not be so secretive about the things I've got going on. So I think from here on out, I'm not going to try to be secretive. I'm just going to speak as though I'm just sharing information with a coworker. If anybody asks or it gets brought up or whatever, there's been plenty of times where I've had to just not say anything because I don't want to talk about it. But, shit, man, maybe that's the reason. Maybe I need people knowing, not for the sake of them knowing that I'm working on something, but for the reminder for me that I've now got lots of eyes on me and I need to keep pushing. And I am sharing my shit and I am, you can call this arrogant or whatever you want, but, I am wearing some big fucking pants and I do have big ambition and I am working hard as shit. And I do want life to roll a different way for me. And I do have different priorities and I do have huge goals. And I am smart as fuck. And my IQ is 137,000. You're right. So maybe from here on out, I just need to share I just need to be about my fucking business. And if people are inspired, then I think then that'll be a good thing. But if they're offended for whatever reason or they're not, whatever, then I guess it is what it is. So, but yeah, that was a cool little experiment, a little observation I made today. And I could be just talking right out of my ass in the sense that he was probably already going to share what he was into anyway. Doesn't matter. It's just the belief in that itself that I'm creating in my own head that could be the reason why I start sharing everything or start not suppressing my ambition. That it helps somebody else, Because, dude, I'm having an epiphany right now. Andy Frisella has this. He's talked about this story multiple times on his podcast. Really, you should go listen to it. Actually, I haven't listened to one of his episodes in 20 or 30 episodes, so I'm not a hoe. I just haven't been listening. So, but yeah, I'm not even listening. I'm sharing the show. Andy, DJ, you're welcome. Anyway, you should go listen to that. It's great. It's a great podcast. But Andy Frisella, creator, 75 Hard Live Hard program, changed my life. He's got a story, and he says that he was so when he had his first business or his first company, he reached a certain point where he was able to buy a Lamborghini. And he owned that Lamborghini for 1 full year before anybody saw him in it or before anybody knew, before he said anything to anybody, because he was, for different reasons, he just didn't want to share that he had, amounted to so much. He didn't want people knowing. He was afraid of what people would think. He was afraid that people would feel disrespected or feel like, oh, that's where all my money's going, or that's why I'm not getting raised because boss has got to get a nice car or whatever. And again, for different reasons, I'm aware, but that's why he didn't share his huge accomplishment and huge success. Now, obviously, he's in business and he's making money. People know that, so it's a different scenario all around, for sure. I'm not trying to compare me to him. He bought a fucking Lamborghini. I went to an Excel class. So, but yeah, I'm just thinking about that now, man. Maybe it's just normal to hide your desire for more because of how it makes other people feel. Damn, dude. Look at me learning and having these epiphanies on the goddamn show. So that's that. So I think from here on out, I'm just not going to try to be secretive about it. Here's the other thing. I actually had a coworker send me a friend request on Facebook. I wouldn't put it past this person to go out of their way to listen to the show because it's my profile photo on Facebook. So definitely can't miss the show. So I wouldn't put it past this person to come on here and listen to these shows. But it's a coworker that I don't ever talk with ever. And yeah, so I don't know if I should accept or whatever the request because I don't really know who they are. I don't know them. So maybe it's an opportunity for me to have a conversation, huh? But anyway, I say that because this person found my shit on their own, which means they are aware of what I've got going on. And if they don't, then I would say they're extremely oblivious because it's my goddamn profile picture. My profile picture is the podcast cover art, and my Facebook bio alludes to the fact that I have a podcast. So if you missed that, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprising if certain people did. That's kind of rude to say, huh? IQ is 45. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if more people started asking questions or they found out or whatever. But yeah, in one full year, a year and a week now, not one person has inquired about anything I've got going on except, I'm going to tell you a funny story, dude. And this guy actively listens to the show, I believe, so might get a laugh at this one. So I go into work, and this is 2 or 3 months ago. I get put on a new team, so it's me. We'll call my coworker Clancy. I just pulled that name out of nowhere. It's not a real name. Nobody knows who a Clancy. So anyway, we'll just call him Clancy, and then we have another guy. We'll call him Braden. Okay? So Braden, we'll call him, is like, hey man, so what do you do after work? You got any hobbies? And I'm like, man, I'm just working on projects at home. And he goes, what kind of projects? And I'm like, honestly, dude, nothing I really want to talk about here. Just some, just personal stuff got going on. He says, like entrepreneur, like business related? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm sorry, dude. I just don't want to talk about it. He's like, okay, no worries. So Clancy overheard me saying that. And then the next morning he comes in and he says, hey, so I was doing some digging. And I was like, oh, Christ, dude. And nothing but good things came of it, So I found out that he's super into entrepreneurship stuff. He's got his own business ideas. And we were kind of bouncing ideas back off. Bouncing ideas. Just trying to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And so I wouldn't have even had that conversation. Probably wouldn't have gone to the depth of the conversation that we've had if I didn't share this type of shit. And to be fair, I didn't share anything. He just got curious and looked me up on social media, found me, whatever. But I guess nobody else in the whole goddamn shop has, because I've always, to the other people who do know about what I got going on, it's either gotten brought up in conversation or I don't know. I can't even remember. But why did I bring that up? Yeah, that's how other people have found out. They just Googled, or they Googled. Holy shit, they Googled me. That'd be cool. They just found out that that was the reason why I said the story. So apparently, Braden thought that my shit was OnlyFans because I wasn't talking about it. I didn't want to. It was business related, entrepreneurship related. Didn't want to talk about it. Would rather keep it a secret. He's like, oh yeah, it's OnlyFans. So no, I'm not selling my cock and balls on the internet. I think you'd have to be the lowest of the low of the lowest of the low of the lowest of the low to do that. But that's neither here nor there. So I can't remember where I was going with that entire story, but I don't know. Maybe I just gotta quit suppressing my goals and stuff, because maybe it'll help somebody else. Maybe it'll inspire someone. It'd be really cool. Yeah, the more I think about it, man, it'd be really cool if I found out that shit, one of my coworkers actually makes 10 grand a month doing whatever sales, and he's blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd be like, dude, how the fuck did I not know about this? We're best friends now. Let's hang out every day. Fuck that, by the way. I'm not hanging out with somebody every day. But, yeah, maybe it would help. Sure as shit would help me get, I wouldn't even say it's comfort zone. It's just more like I don't want any kind of attention or any kind of questions or any kind of anything directed at me from that. Because, I mean, I say this example all the time, and it only applies to maybe half the people I work with, but there's a lot of people I work with that are double my age who, I mean, they're sharing their life advice and they're sharing this and that. And I'm like, dude, we're in the same exact position in life, career-wise. I don't feel like your advice is very valuable to me, considering I'm trying to have 2 commas in my bank account by 30 years old, you know? So you're 50, you're 55, 58, whatever. And if you're listening, whoever you know who I'm talking about, I love you. No disrespect. However, you made some life choices, and it's all good. But we have different goals in life. It's all good, but it's probably not the most appealing advice that you could give to me. So having conversations with people like that is difficult because they're coming from a place of, oh, it doesn't work. I've tried, I've put in my time. I'm this many years old, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work. It's like, well, yeah, for you, it didn't. It's now 2024 and okay, anyway, I'm going off topic, but I don't want to talk with closed-minded or super unambitious people, because what I say and what I'll talk about will more than likely go over other people's heads. And that leads me to be feeling like I'm talking to a wall, and also can make me seem like I'm being an arrogant asshole. Because when I say, yeah, I want to have a $1 million business, or I want to make lots of money, or I want to own a Lamborghini, people hear that and they're like, oh, what, is Honda not good enough? Oh, is this Mazda not good enough? You're just too good for us now? Or what? What's up? You just don't want to be around us anymore? It's like, nah, dude, I absolutely do not want to be around anybody who can't think of something greater or more whatever for themselves than, going on a 1-week vacation next year to some place, because that's when they get enough PTO, and no disrespect, but I got big goals. You listen to the show, I got big goals, and I'm going to achieve every single one of them. And talking to closed-minded people with no goals, with no ambition, who think life fucked them, that's not the kind of people I ever want to associate with ever again in my life, for that reason. But I do want to associate with those people because they do have valuable perspective. They do kind of highlight, I guess, weaknesses and strengths. And if anything, this sounds fucked, but it's a good reminder of, what happens when you just don't give a fuck and you go through life not trying to do anything. Because if you're double my age and we are in the same exact career position, I think that's a problem. Dude, I even feel like shit because I have coworkers who are 19 and 20. One of them is my cousin. I'm like, dude, goddamn, 20 years old. What was I doing? 20 years old. I just competed in my first fitness show. Won first place and my IQ's 130. Next question. No, I competed in my first bodybuilding show. Men's physique. I got my trophies right here. I got first in teens, second in natural out of 2 people. So I got dead last. And then I got third. I tied third for novice. Got 4th in true novice, however you want to pronounce it. And then I got sixth in the open out of, I think, 9 people, which is the most important class, but I did not qualify. If I would have done that, I would have been able to go to nationals, I believe. Top 5 does. No, excuse me. Top 3 qualify for nationals. Top 5 get a trophy. So I would have gotten a 5th trophy, but did not. But anyway, when I was 20 years old, that's when I competed 27. So I was working at Smith's Food and Drug. I was in the gas station at the little fuel kiosk, which is, Kroger, Smith's Food and Drug, Ralph's, King Soopers, Fry's. Yeah, just Kroger. So I was working in the little fuel kiosk, and I remember that I couldn't get checker pay, which was more than fuel clerk pay. So I was at $13.75. I was making $13.75 an hour when I was 20 years old. And then I got my cousin and another coworker of mine that are 20 and 19. And we're all pretty much the same pay grade. So actually, I got the new pay grade today, which is, so as of right now, I'm at $31.28 an hour. And if you listen to episode 157, I was at 20, what was I at? 23.38 an hour. So yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm at now. And again, I don't share that to brag or whatever, or to flex or to say that I'm, I don't give a fuck about that. I want to tell you how much I make because I want people to know what I'm at this age, at this stage of my life, how I'm able to afford the things that I do, where the money's going, because that's what I'm fucking doing. I'm documenting everything I do so that somebody in the future who's not even born yet can look at this when they're 19 years old and use this as a roadmap to get from where they're trying to go use this as a roadmap to go from where they're at to wherever they're trying to go. So I'm going to share every detail. So yeah. So that's what I'm at now. So where was I going with all that? Oh yeah. So yeah, to think that at age 20, and I know there's a cost of living, I know there's inflation, I know, but to think that at 20 years old, I could be where I'm at now, but 7 years ago, fuck, dude, I would kill for that shit. I was making $13.75. That's crazy. I remember I got boosted up past 13 because I was stuck at 13 for 2 years. And about a year and a half, whatever. And I went to like 14.08 and I was like, dude, I'm a fucking man. I'm making 14.08, you know? And then interesting story, a little side tangent. I quit Smith's because I was treated very shittily. And then, fast forward a couple years, I come back. No further experience in grocery stores. I come back and they hired me at $17. So really weird how they do that. I left at 14 whatever, came back a year or two later, and they said, due to my experience, they can put me at max pay, which is $17.50. Why didn't they pay me that to begin with, due to my experience? There was no difference. I didn't work any other extra, Interesting, huh? So, yeah, there's that. So, so going back to what I was saying, yeah, sometimes I even feel like shit because I'm like, dude, I got people 7 years younger than me that are in the same exact spot that I'm in. What the fuck is going on? And then I get in my head and I'm like, oh, you know what? They don't got business ideas. They're not going home and recording a podcast. They're not working on coaching brand. They're not working on making $100,000 by January 1st, 2026, blah, blah. You're not doing this. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. Hold on. So unofficially, I haven't put much thought into it other than changing my name on Instagram. So very official. But my main account, which is the one that I have 107 followers on, that's where I share the podcast updates, and it's kind of the Instagram I give people. That one I have unofficially transformed into the business documentation Instagram account. So everything that I ever post on there from here on out is going to be directly related to pretty much everything that this podcast talks about. And then it has a link in my bio to my fitness page, which is bryson.sessions. And yeah, so the idea is to have this as a way to network with other people and as a way to showcase the entrepreneurship side of things. Because despite fitness being the focus of the business, entrepreneurship itself and business and all that stuff, marketing, sales, that shit drives more of an interest for me than fitness and nutrition and macros in the gym. I love all those things and they're very interesting, but the psychology and everything that comes with business and the grit required to build and the creativity, all that shit is much more intriguing for me than anything else. So that why not just actually do something like this and put it all in one spot. So it's so my fitness page is Bryson Q Sessions. My entrepreneurship page is B Quinton Sessions. So Bryson Q Sessions, B Quinton Sessions. So got my initials in there, but for entrepreneurship reasons, I'm Quinton. So that's my middle name if nobody knew. But it says B Quinton Sessions 20-year entrepreneur documentation, which I need to add some hyphens because it sounds like I'm a 20-year entrepreneur. So 20-year entrepreneur documentation. So its title is podcast, and then I put in my bio, and this could change, it's unofficial, but anti-retirement. I like to work. I document everything on my podcast, year 1 of 20. Next objective, 100,000 from FitBiz, because I'm out of characters. by 1Jan26. And again, that's the unofficial thing. And that's also, the reason why I'm bringing this up, that is also the unofficial goal. 100,000 from the fitness business by January 1st, 2026. So today is September 19th, 2024, 3:11 p.m. Thursday. So if I want to make $100,000 by January 1st, I'm going to need to average, let's do the quick math real quick. 100,000 divided by, hold on. Hey Siri, how many days are there until January 1st, 2026? 469. So if I go 100,000 divided by 469, it means I got to make $213 a day for until January 1st, 2026 to reach that goal. And if I don't, then I won't reach that goal. So at that current price point, I would need to get one new client every single day at a price point of $213 per month to reach that goal. Now, is that going to happen? I would love to say it would, but no, it will not happen. So what I have to do is get fucking great at what I do really quick and not let off the gas ever for any reason. And there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to make that goal happen. I would just have to work very, very hard at it. And it's not even about the money. It's just more like that's a very hardcore number for me, that's a huge ass goal. That's a huge number for me. I've never seen more than 5 digits in my bank account ever in my entire life. So to go for 6, that's crazy. The most money I've ever seen in my bank account, in one account, ever in my whole life is, I think, $3,700. That's the most money I've ever seen in my account ever in my life. And I think I had $3,700 in checking. You know what I think I had $1,800 in checking, and then I had $1,400 in savings, and then I combined the two into savings so I could withdraw it. I don't remember what I did. That's when I got my first car, so it was 10 years ago. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Fun fact, I got my license when I turned 18. My grandma drove me to my first day of college. So that's a true story. So there's an interesting fact about me. So yeah, anyway, so to go for 100,000, not for the money, but for what it requires me to do. Because you don't just make 100 grand in a year as a first-time entrepreneur. You just don't do that. You probably don't do that. Not you, but just generally speaking, it's probably unlikely that your first 365 days in business you do 6 figures. However, this is a service-based business, and my overhead is extremely low. I have to pay for a software, and I have to pay for a few softwares, and maybe some things I want to send to people. But if it costs them, when the program is at its peak, if you want to call it that, it'll be $1,000 for 3 months. And if I go for $1,000, if it costs me, because they're in the program for 3 months, if you times all the software by however much it is, so we'll just say it equals 200 total. We'll say it's 100 total for all the softwares, because that's actually more. Well, actually, it would be closer to 200, 300. But that's for unlimited clients. So for one client, and I get this, so it would, okay, hold on. So if I have 10 clients, it's a $10,000 right there, 10 clients, $10,000. And with all the software and the overhead and all the stuff that I buy and all the software subscriptions, all that stuff, it'd be 400, we'll just say 450 total for the 3 months total. So 450 minus 10,000. That's my business cost. The rest is profit toward me that I can reinvest into better softwares. I can have better ideas. I can hire people to do the work that I don't want to do for me. I can hire more people to get leads for me. I can hire people to do check-ins. I can hire a nutritionist. I can do a lot of shit. I mean, if I have 9 grand, if I have 36 grand per year that I can dish out, I could give somebody a full-time opportunity. It'd be lower pay, but I could give somebody a full-time opportunity to work with me, for me, whatever, so that I could grow my shit even faster, even bigger. Even bigger. So going way down the rabbit hole. that's that's the unofficial goals. That's the unofficial Instagram transformation. And I keep talking, man, but it's exciting for me to see that. I don't know, man. Like, this new Instagram account already has more posts than my main account. It's got 21 posts, 30 followers. My other account's got 17 posts, 106 followers. And I'm just looking at this, man. I think it's cool shit. If I wouldn't have started, so when I made this Instagram account, it was 3 weeks ago. That's when I had that 4-day weekend. That's when I started this. And I wasn't ready to make content. I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have a theme or an idea of what I wanted to do. I just started. I was like, okay, well, I'll post this. But in 2 days, I better have this. And if I don't, then the feed's going to look all screwy. So after that, we got to have a schedule and blah, blah. That's when Fridays were introduced, Content Fridays. Because on every Friday, Jesus, which is tomorrow. Yeah, I got a full work day ahead of me tomorrow. So tomorrow, got to do the comments and reach outs. Got to record the podcast. I even put in here 30 minutes of Italian study, which I have, I'm second guessing a lot of the stuff with learning another language, not because it's hard or whatever, but because it's 30 minutes of time and work spent on something that's not my number one priority. So I look at that and I'm like, that's just a distraction, dude. I got to focus. But I want to learn Italian, man. I think that shit's cool. So I'm just using the Busuu app. I think it's 10 times better than Duolingo. I think Duolingo, for me, and my learning style, I think Duolingo could possibly be the worst thing for me. It's not how I learn. It's not, I don't like that shit. I'd prefer a textbook, or I'd rather have an Italian person come and talk to my face, which is kind of what Busuu is. So found a lot more success with that. And so little plug to Busuu. So anyway, then we got to add music to the podcast, record a podcast clip and save the podcast clips, write the Twitter post, create the Twitter post in Photoshop, create 5 to 10 regular posts, write captions for all of those things, edit, splice, and save the podcast clips in a folder. And then, that's tomorrow. And I'm not prepared for that. But I've also not been prepared for the last 3 weeks. But here we are. So pretty cool stuff. So the reason why I say all that is because I wasn't ready to do this. I would argue that I'm still not. I don't have a strategy, and I could get one. But there's just a lot of shit going on. But yet here I am, 21 days into it, and I'm learning a lot. So if you look at the reach outs, so 18 to, hey Siri, what's 18 plus 17 plus 16 plus 15 plus 14 plus 13 plus 12 plus 11 plus 10 plus 19? So not counting today, it's 126 people that I've reached out to. Counting today, it's 145. And what I thought was going to take me a half hour to do 10, it now takes me 10 minutes flat to do. It took me 9 minutes flat to do 17. And it took me 13 minutes yesterday to do 18. So if it takes me roughly 20 minutes to do 30 reach outs, that's gravy. I wouldn't know that it only took me I wouldn't know that it only took me that amount of time if I didn't start, if I didn't try. I mean, I started with 10, and now today I'm at 19. Tomorrow I'll be at 20. I wouldn't know these things if I didn't just fucking start, dude. And so I am where I am now with social media because I just wanted to start. I didn't want to wait any longer. What the fuck was I waiting for? So I have this now. And anyway, so the reason why I bring that up is because it's exciting. It's so exciting because I'm making, I'm creating, I'm producing. And whether or not the shit's good or bad, that's to be determined later. But right now, I've got a shit ton of momentum. I haven't missed a day in 3 weeks. Here I go. I'm posting content. I've got all my other stuff. Things are looking nice. I got old testimonials. I'm ready to go. And I'm slowly making progress. But above all this, I like doing this. I like the grind required to get the content ready to make it look nice and putting the effort into it. And then seeing that shit go live. Seeing that shit go out into the internet with my name on it, with my design, whatever, and have it look good. That's some cool shit. So never mind the fact of making money and changing lives or whatever. This is some cool fucking shit, and I like doing it. I like how much work is required to make a good-looking product, and I like the idea of how manageable it is now that I've got systems in place to help me. Because beforehand, if you would have said, hey, you got to post twice a day, I would have been like, no fucking way. But now, I'm entertaining the idea of posting 7 times a day. So twice on my feed, 5 times on my story, and getting all that going. So, I just would have been like, hell no, I'm not doing that shit. I'll go once or twice a week. But now here I am. I'm going once a day for 3 weeks straight. So now if I were to get Instagram stories on there and even turn all my Twitter posts into normal text and also start publishing to X and to Threads, and then that just adds the count up. So, but because I have these systems and processes in place that allow me to do this very seamlessly, very easily, it allows me to work harder, because now instead of having to go to each individual social media platform and post my thing and then copy or whatever and then write another thing or whatever, I can just do it all in one day. So that one big process and one big thing, one big string of events now becomes something that is done once per week, and I don't have to worry about it ever again. So that enables me to work harder, because a big part of the whole system here is already taken care of now. All I have to do is attend to it once a week on Fridays, work my ass off to make that happen, and then I got 6 more days of the week to make other things happen. So when I think about it like that, and this is where I'm getting at, it makes me feel like I am absolutely going to crush it. And like Alex Ramosi says, it goes slower than you can imagine, or goes slower than you can bear, or whatever, for a long time, and then it happens faster than you can imagine. Meaning it's slow and it's shitty and it's awful for a very long time, and you can barely handle it. It's so hard to endure. And then all of a sudden, all the success, all the wins, all the whatever just happens faster than you can imagine. What is it? I can't remember the quote. It happens whatever, and then all at once. I can't remember how he says it, but of course he's a modern day philosopher, so it sounds nice. But anyway, because I think about it in the context of, okay, I'm posting content and it's quite a grind, and I got to really focus on it, and I got to really worry about it. And I'm like, I'm doing it. So just keep on getting better and keep on, as long as I don't stop, as long as I don't quit, I'll be all right. Then I think about that with the reach outs now, because I've just upped it by 1 every day. And there's 145 eyes that I wouldn't have reached if I didn't put in the work to do that. And we're talking a total now, maybe, of an hour and a half worth of work over the last 10 days. So if I didn't do that, these people wouldn't be seeing my content. But now they are. That's 145 people. And maybe one of them could be a potential client in the future. Who knows? But shit, even if they sign up for $200, $200 in an hour and a half worth of work is a good damn deal. So I'll take that trade-off as much as I want, as much as I can. I keep going off track. Why I bring all this up is because I'm doing the reach outs, I'm doing the social media, I'm doing the podcast, and it's all consistent, and I'm not stopping. So then I think, okay, well, once I get on with the DMs that I'm messaging people, I just simply won't stop that either. So all that's left to take place now is time. So time takes its course, over the next 469 days. That just so happens to be what it is today. 469 days from today will be January 1st, 2026. So all I have to do is sign 100 clients at $1,000, and I'm there. So, I'm going to be selling it for very, very, very cheaper than that, because I just want to get my systems and everything improved. But yeah, it's more of a game. It's satisfying to see, in a backwards way, it's satisfying to see the zeros and the no likes and the no comments, because it's like, well, one day it won't be that, and I'll know that I power through all these zeros and ones and twos. Shit, dude, even with the podcast, I'm almost at a year straight, not missing one single day. Let's pull this up live. And we are at a total of 23 downloads. 2,423. So if you do the math on that, let's see what it is. 2423 divided by 336, I think it is. It's an average of 7.2 listens per episode. I've been doing this for a year straight. I haven't missed one single day. Most episodes are 20 minutes or longer. And I've only got an average of 7 listeners. And I have an idea of who an average 7 people would be in real life. As if, meaning, so it's not a random stranger that I don't know. It's not somebody that's taking value and learning some of this from some other state. It's just friends and family. And I'm not discrediting anybody who listens to the show. But for the first year, I think it's safe to say that the only consistent listeners were people that I actually knew, people that I currently do know, people that I talk to on a daily basis, and people I went to school with, whatever. And again, not a bad thing. Very grateful for everybody who wants to give my stuff a try. Always. But I say this because I'm a year straight and I'm at 7. So to think that another year of making content and sending DMs, maybe I only make 7 sales by doing this every single day, by spending, I don't know, because Fridays take me 16 hours of work to make it all happen. I don't know, 30-hour weeks with everything combined, we'll say, with the reach outs and the comments and the direct messages and the content. Did I just say that? Don't know. With the social media, with the podcast, all this stuff going out. And in 1 year, I make 7 sales. Tell you what, dude, 7's a lot better than nothing. And if I make $7,000 from doing that, $7,000, let's just do the math real quick. So if it takes you 30 hours, 52, 1560, so if I did that, I'd be making about $1 an hour, $1.08 an hour. So even though I'm not getting paid now, I will in the future. And I'm more interested and intrigued with building this whole thing up from the ground than I am the actual awards or rewards of making the money, making the impact, whatever. Just building this up from the ground and everything being my idea. Not because it's my idea, but I guess, not because it's my idea. I don't care whose idea it is. But like, for example, we'll say when you talk about somebody else. Somebody else came up with everything on their own. They didn't hire anybody. They didn't have any assistants. They didn't have any people working for them. It was all them. So all the forms and the questionnaires and the software and the metrics, that was all them. All the logos, all the designs, that was all them. All the processes, all the reaching out, all the marketing, that was them. All the content creation, all the podcasts, all that was all them. All the managing of everything I just said on a daily or hourly basis, that was them. Managing their hundreds of clients on a monthly basis, making sure everybody sees great results, all them. There's something that's so just badass about that to me that I want. And nobody could know about it. Shit, I don't even tell people what I got going on now because I don't want any kind of attention toward what I'm doing. So it's not even for the recognition from other people. It's just that feeling like, hey, yeah, I fucking did this. And it's a proud feeling that I would feel in my heart. I don't give a fuck if anybody else knows or doesn't know. I would feel that in my heart and I would feel credible about it. And I think that's what 75 Hard taught me more than anything else. It doesn't fucking matter what you do or what you don't do. You'll know in your heart if you give it a good shot or not. You'll know. And like Alex Hormozi says, like even though he'll crush it on stage and his book will sell tens of millions of copies, even if one page is kind of shitty and everyone else loves it, he'll know that it's shitty and that he could have done more. He'll know that he could have put in more effort or he could have changed this or whatever. Doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, man. He will know. And that one little knowing of whatever, that can just sabotage everything. It just puts a it's just a, I don't know what you want to say. It's a sour bite and whatever. I always try to think of these analogies and I can't. So live and learn. Swing and a miss. But whatever. Puts a chip in your wood. I don't know. But yeah, so that's more intriguing. That's more interesting, whatever, than me. And the way that I wouldn't be able to work on these things would be to not put out content, not try to grow a business, not try to reach out and talk to people. So as long as I do that, I'm actively working in my dream, my goals, you know. So yeah, I've talked for almost an hour straight. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. But yeah, I just feel really good. The days that I feel the best are usually right after the days that I feel like the absolute shittiest. So there's a little lesson there. There's a little words of wisdom there. So Anyway, that's the show. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.